Have you ever been in a situation where there was an opportunity that opened up in your workplace and you want to apply for it, right? In fact, you have an inkling to step up into leadership, to advance your career, but for some reason you couldn't bring yourself to submit the application? Or maybe has this ever happened to you where there are opportunities for you to step up into leadership? It could be taking on a new project or a new team members, but for some reason you just couldn't raise your hand to say, yes, I want to do that. Or you couldn't raise your hand. You just couldn't bring yourself to raise the hand and to be invited into that opportunity. If that's ever happened to you, then what I want to share with you in this video is how to overcome what I call promotion anxiety. And I'm going to also be giving you later on in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 self-improvement tips on how you can step up into leadership. Right? So keep in mind that when we experience what I call promotion anxiety, there's 3 root causes for a lack of confidence in this arena, because it really boils down to a lack of self-confidence, that we're not confident we can step up into that. We're not confident we can be competitive for that position, or we're not confident we can carry out what's needed if we raise our hand and now we're working on this new project. So there's 3 root causes for that lack of confidence. Number 1 is incongruence. That is perhaps the number 1 root cause of a lack of confidence. Because when I say incongruence, I'm talking about there's incongruence between what we say we desire and the actions we take. Because let's face it, saying that you desire to be in a position of leadership is not the same thing as saying that you desire to be in a position of leadership, but also being willing to do what's necessary. Because oftentimes what happens, and I hear this a lot in my coaching program, right? Where we want to be in a position of leadership because it sounds like that's what we should do. But at the same time, we're unsure what is going to be necessary, what that's going to require of us once we get there. And so there's a subconscious, we're not even aware of it, but there's a subconscious unwillingness to do what is necessary to have that success, and a hesitation to continue to do what's necessary once we get there, right? And the second part of incongruence, so that's the first part of incongruence. The second part of incongruence is the investment in ourselves. What I discover, as an executive coach for more than 10 years, one of the things that I discovered is that most ambitious professionals are unwilling to invest in their communication skills and their personal growth. You see, both of these 2 things, communication skills, personal growth, these things don't happen by themselves over time. And oftentimes I have career professionals coming to me and something at work has changed. And maybe it is their position, or maybe it is some hierarchy, org chart reorganization. And now they find themselves in a position where they must lead a project or they lead a team. And now, because of that change at the workplace or in their role, now they become aware that they have challenges with communication skills. But every time I ask them, when did this start? The challenges you have in your communication, how long have you been experiencing it? Right? They know that they've always had a challenge with communication, but it wasn't until this shift in their role, now they realize, okay, I really got to do something about it because it's holding me back from the career growth I want to see. And this is what I see time and time again from professionals as one of the biggest mistakes professionals make, is not investing in their communication skills so that they are prepared once those opportunities do come. Right? So when you invest in your communication skills, not only does it make you competitive to land those positions and to achieve those new roles and be competitive for those, even in internal competition, it also prepares you to be able to lead effectively. Communication skills is one of the most important skills to have, to be able to lead yourself, to communicate the value of what you have to bring, but also to create unity among your teams. So if you are somebody who is serious about taking your communication skills to the next level, because you recognize the importance of being effective at communications, the importance of how key it is to be able to communicate clearly, succinctly, in a way that your audience can understand. If you're somebody who really realizes this and you want to take your skills to the next level, then I invite you to book a call with me. Below this video, there on the first link in the description of this video is a link to apply to my coaching program. And this is where I'm going to take you step by step through the framework on how you can master your communication skills to be effective, how you can create content, how you can overcome lack of self-confidence, how you can overcome the fear of public speaking, but most of all, how you can be persuasive, have the executive presence every time you communicate. If you are serious, only if you're serious to master your communication skills, then click the link below, submit your application, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Now, the second root cause for lack of confidence in this arena is that we don't know what's going to happen. You see, oftentimes we are programmed by the public school education system. We're programmed to believe that in order for us to take action on something, that we have to know exactly how it's going to play out. Because we don't like to be in the unknown. We don't like to have unpredictability in our lives. So we want to have this scenario where we have to know exactly what's going to happen before we take action. But you see, that's not how it works. That's not how it works in life. We can't possibly know what's going to happen before we take action on it. We must first take action on it, and then we can see what's going to happen. And it makes sense that you don't know what's going to happen because you've never experienced it before, so you can't possibly know. You don't even know if it will turn out, how it will turn out. You don't know if you're going to experience rejection or if you're going to gain respect. You don't know. But it's normal not to know because you've never tried it. You've never taken that first step, right? And so instead of waiting for yourself to know every single piece or component of it, we don't get to even learn about that thing until we decide and commit to that journey. You see, if we hold that mindset of, I need to know everything about it before I say yes to it, it's going to necessarily produce a lack of confidence in yourself because the common denominator is still yourself, right? So invest in your communications. Understand that you can't possibly have the criteria of knowing everything before you get started, right? You must know what you want and not just say what you desire, but take action on your desires. The third root cause to this lack of confidence in this arena, the third root cause is that your expectations are pulling in the opposite direction of what you say you desire. How many of you can agree that so often in life, we go through this life working hard at the things we desire, working hard, being diligent, disciplined. Those are the values we think we should have. So we spend years, and some of you maybe even decades, working hard towards what you desire. But isn't it true that we don't necessarily get what we work hard for? It is also not necessarily true that we get what we desire. Right. And so what happens is we have this scenario where we're working so hard with discipline towards what we desire. But at the same time, in our minds, we expect the complete opposite. We don't expect it to work. We don't expect things to work out in our favor. We don't expect to get that expectation. We don't expect to have that recognition, right? Or the acceptance. So our expectations are completely in misalignment. Right? So align your expectations by having the first two things in place. Number one, investment in your communication skills and your personal growth. Invest in those skills. And number two is that you must be willing to do what's necessary to have that success. You must be willing. So here are the 5 tips that I have to share with you to step up into leadership. Step number one, seek the truth. Seek the truth. We want to have confidence. We want to have complete confidence, unshakable confidence. The root word for confidence is to confide, which means to tell the truth. So the first thing you have to do is seek the truth. Look for the evidence. Look for the evidence of what you have been believing. Is it really true? Right? So that is number one. Seek the truth. Ground your understanding of your journey to the truth. Ground your understanding of yourself to the truth. Ground your understanding of your investments to the truth. Step number one is seek the truth. Step number 2, submit to a teacher. You got to hire a coach. A coach, a coach is good. A good coach will be telling you things that may not make sense to you in the beginning. They're definitely going to tell you things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable, or they're going to be counterintuitive to you. And of course, that's what a good coach will do, because if it made sense to you, if it was comfortable to you, you would have done it already. But I'm guessing that you're here because you want something radically different from what you've been having. You want to produce a completely different result, a life result, a career result from what you've had. You want a marked improvement, not just a little bit improvement. You want a significant improvement. Now that would require you to operate differently. Wouldn't you agree? Beliefs, skill sets, decisions, the way that you think, strategies that you use automatically, your habits, all of these things will require a change. But you can't make this change within yourself, because oftentimes, because it is you're so close to you can't see what you're doing. You can't see where the gaps are. You can't see what you have been implementing in your life right now. So you got to hire a coach and then place yourself under their authority. 80% of what they're going to tell you is going to be counterintuitive, right? And this is the thing, whenever new clients come to work with me, right? I've been an executive coach for more than 10 years. Every single time, 100% of the time, right? My clients, ambitious career professionals, college educated career professionals, tell me that this does not make sense. But they trust the process. And in the end, what are they able to do? They're able to speak with confidence. They're able to land the director positions. They're able to pass the interviews. They're able to motivate their teams. They're able to give their presentation to perfection because they trust the process. But you got to submit to a teacher first, right? So step number 1, seek the truth. Step number 2, submit to a teacher. And step number 3 is to see your treasure. See the value that you have in your experiences, not just your work experiences, but your life experiences. You are more than just your education. You are more than just your work history. You have a vast number of experiences. See their value and take an inventory of your accomplishments. That will also help to ground you in the truth, which goes back to step number 1, right? So in summary so far, step number 1 is to seek the truth. Step number 2 is to submit to a teacher. Step number 3 is to see your treasure. And step number 4 is to sell your treasure. Now is your moment. Communicate the true value of what you have to bring, the payoff that you're going to produce for your company, for your teams, right? The company is macro, your team is micro. Communicate the true value of what you have to bring on both the macro and the micro level. Be able to persuade when you sell your treasure. This is your skill of persuasion, and it goes right back to invest in your communication. And then that is when you truly have the opportunity to monetize your message. All right, so once again, if you're serious of investing in your communications so that you can learn to persuade, communicate your value, monetize your message, then once again, I invite you to book a call below, and I hope to see you on the inside. And there's one more step, guys. Now, step number 1 was seek the truth. Step number 2, submit to a teacher. Step number 3, to see your treasure. Step number 4, sell your treasure. And finally, step number 5 is to sustain your transformation. This is where you got to make it last, because I'm guessing, and let's face it, we don't want to be transformed just for today or just for this week. We want to be transformed for the rest of our working lives. We want to see improvements, and we want to see continual improvements. We don't just want to improve for the rest of the year. We want to improve year upon year. So this is about sustaining your transformation. How do you sustain it? How do you continually invest in your communications, invest in your personal growth? That is what it takes to sustain your transformation. Once again, you can't do it in and of yourself. Nobody can transform themselves in and of themselves, because you only know what you know. You can only see what you see. But what is it that you don't see? What is it that you don't know? In those arenas is where your true transformation lies. So I hope that this video has really helped you to transform the way that you see career paths and the way that you can see taking one step closer to the abundance that you want to have in your life. Now, I want to hear from you, because knowledge, this is just knowledge, by the way. My YouTube video, this video is just giving you a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge in the time that we spent together, such a short period of time. But knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So I want to hear from you. Comment below. What was the biggest key takeaway that you got out of this video? And remember to subscribe to my channel. Click that thumbs up if I resonated with you, and remember to ring that bell as well so you can be notified every time I release a new video.